Okay, guys, this is Honovi Global Network, and today we are here with a very interesting man, a man who has been instrumental in the Grenadian community and in the Grenadian community. So we decided we're going to have a little chat and sit down with him so we can get to find out who really is Peter Phillip. So good afternoon, Mr. Phillip. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Great. Well, I mean, you know and I know how much you have contributed to the Grenadian community, both in Grenada and in Canada. So tell us really, just give us a little background of who is Peter Phillip? Where it all started. Where did you grow up? You know, just give us a little background of who you are.
Well, I was born in 1955. Right in this house here, 1955. I am some 70 years old.
Mhm.
And I lived in Grenada until I was 16 years old. And then I migrated to Canada, Toronto. And I stayed in Toronto up until high school and everything there. Did sports. Well, I was a mechanic by trade. And in Toronto, I had a mechanic garage for a short while. And I also became a boxer.
Wow.
While I was in Toronto. I used to do the light heavyweight division and represent Toronto. And then I started doing business. The name of my business in Toronto is PJP Exporting, shipping barrels and all sorts of cargo from Toronto into Grenada. And I've been doing that now since 1982.
Wow.
So that's what I've been doing, and along the way, I did other stuff. I'm also a jazz singer. I recorded a couple of songs with Eddie Bowling in Toronto, a very good friend of mine, and we were trying to see what we could do for the Grenadian people who live in Grenada, like how best we could contribute.
Right.
So around 1984, I opened up a tire store in Toronto and Locust Street.
Okay.
Most people might know me there, and we were selling tires, and for a very low price. Because we're bringing them in from Toronto. Whenever I load my container and there was space, I would put different things in it, appliance, tires, whatever people on the island needed.
Right.
And then we would sell it and make a little change from that. And it grew up a little bit. It grew. And today, presently I retired. I gave my son Aaron the business to continue, because this is a business that I want to continue long after I'm gone. So my son took it over.
Right.
And he's doing well. And I think my plan now for the next few years is to live out the rest of my life in Grenada.
Wow, awesome.
And see how best I could go and
Contribute to the
contribute to the Grenadian people and stuff like that. Just like to give. Every year since we started the shipping business, we have a dinner party for the kids in the village here. Marigot, Conroy, Montplaisy, and a few days ago, Monday, Monday we had a party and we was giving out presents and have a dinner and giving out a little ice cream and stuff. And everybody was enjoying himself.
Absolutely.
And things like that. That's what I like to do with my spare time. And giving back to the community. Ghana Government School, we give them a few computers, and whatever the Grenadian Consulate in Toronto have to donate to Grenada, our shipping company always make time, and we try to contribute there.
Right, so you try to facilitate that shipment.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. So tell me, Mr. Peter, what prompted you to want to go to Toronto in your youthful days? Like, what was it that you thought, hey, look, I got to leave Grenada, and I got to venture into the so-called big world? What prompted you?
Well, I didn't really live to go to Toronto. What happened is, my mom and myself went to Barbados to get a visa to go to the United States.
Right.
And for me, and we were turned down. We were denied a visa. I did not get a visa to go to the United States. So while we were waiting on a flight to come back from Barbados back to Grenada, some friends of my mom were coming from Canada, going back to Grenada. And these people they were going to the same village in Marigot like us.
Right.
And we were telling them the story. That how we were denied visa and all that. And the guy says, man, not to worry, man. You could come to Canada instead.
Wow.
Canada is better, blah, blah, blah. So we said, okay, we'll think about it.
Interesting.
And then I had a half-brother living in Toronto. We got in touch with him. And in those days, you don't have to have a visa to go to Toronto. You could just live straight.
Right, right.
It was different. To go to America, you have to have a visa, you have to have all these different papers. But we went there. And at the same time, my brother was working with immigration and custom in Toronto at the time.
Right. So you could have given you a heads up of how to navigate.
And you think that you was going to give me a heads up to how to get my papers and all that?
Right. Didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
He says, look, I don't want to get in trouble, and you have to go.
Figure it out for yourself.
Go, don't break the laws and do whatever you have,
Right.
So I said, okay, no problem. I had a friend who got a job for me in this factory, and they said to me that if I wanted to stay in Toronto, they could give me a visa and how to apply for it.
Right.
So I applied for it, and in just about 6 months, I got my visa in Toronto, and that was good. And I started getting back to my education, went back to high school,
Nice.
and start figuring things out. Me and my brother had an argument. He threw me out in the middle of the winter. He says, I can't deal with you anymore, man. You're on your own.
Everybody has a story like that.
So we had to figure out myself by that time, 16, 17 years old.
Wow.
In the streets of Toronto, I had to figure out just how to navigate, And I remember I wrote down on a piece of paper that says, these are some of the laws, my law. I will not get into trouble. I will not argue with anybody. This is what I want to accomplish, and this is how I'm going to work for it. And this was my Bible.
Wow, so you had a plan, you had a goal for what you wanted at such an early age.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to because, like me, I was by myself.
Wow.
So I had to navigate. And that was it, And I had a chance to attend university up there, but I did not go to university
Right.
because I fear that what I wanted to do, I had enough education and enough knowledge to do what I wanted to do.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And going to university at the time would not really guarantee me the job I wanted and stuff like that.
Right. So you had to take care of your immediate concern of food, clothing, and shelter. And then, there's a lot, to invest to go to university, and you have to wait until you start making some money, right? So
I had no support from my brother and all that. And so when I really think, I got a job working on the construction site
that's
for a
right.
little while. And the Italian guy in the construction was very good, very nice. He realized that I had some potential.
Right. So what did you do exactly in construction? What was?
Well, we started on the construction doing labor because I didn't know much about nothing.
Right.
The only thing I had on my side was I was a mechanic. So in the morning time, my job was to set up all the equipment,
The machines and
the
stuff.
machines, set up the scaffold, put up everything together, put the blocks, move the blocks here and stuff like that.
Right.
And one day the forklift broke down. One of the hydraulic hoses busted up. And in no time I fixed that. And the guy says, "Do you know how to drive this forklift?" I says, yeah, I understand. It was standard,
Fake it before you make it,
It
right?
was standard. I never really drive a forklift.
Right. Right.
But I realized since it's standard, with the clutch and everything,
You figure you can handle it
Right.
because you already drove manual.
standard manual.
Yeah.
So we started doing that. And, at the time I was getting $7 an hour. And the guy says to me, if you could drive the forklift and stuff like that, let's see how you go. So he ended up giving me at the end of the week, give me $10 an hour.
Wow.
And so he says, "Do you know how to drive this truck over there? It's also standard." I said, "Yeah, man." We drove the truck. He says, "Okay, your job from now on is to pick up the laborers in the morning, bring them to work, set up the scaffold, make sure everybody have enough money, and all of that.
Oh, sorry.
And what happened is I was doing all that, and the guy was impressed.
You're talking about the Italian boss.
Italian boss.
Right.
He says, "Look, I'm going to give you $12 an hour."
Whew. It's almost double salary.
Exactly. Now the thing is, I had a friend from Grenadian, right here from St. George's area, who was working in the construction site.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bricklayer.
Right.
He was making at the time $11 an hour.
Right.
And he was driving me to work in the morning time, driving me back in the evening time. So I had to pay back a little bit of my $7.
Yeah.
I had to pay that and all that. But I started hanging out with the Italian guys and all that because they were teaching me how to read blueprint. They were teaching me how to drive the bulldozer.
Wow.
They were showing me how to drive the backhoe. They were teaching me how to drive all the equipment and the thing for nothing. All I had to do was go buy the beer for them during lunchtime.
All right.
And bring the lunch for them and stuff like that. At that time I was a gopher guy, but
No,
I
that's
liked
fine.
it.
That's
I'm
fine.
a gopher guy, but
You learn a lot.
So my Grenadian guy now was mad. He says, "You're letting them white guys use you to go as a gopher. You're going and you're picking up that, you're coming back and blah blah blah."
But you had a plan.
I had my plan. I said,
Right.
if I could learn how to drive each and every piece of equipment here,
Yeah.
when I leave this place, I'll be okay.
Yeah. You'd be able to be employed anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my friend now telling the guys where we just hang out on the weekends, "Man, all right, Peter, those white guys pushing me around and blah, 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 blah." But during that same time, I was making $12 an hour. He was making $11.
Right.
I can't argue with him.
Right.
And I can't tell him anything about what's going on with me.
Yeah, because he probably would not be happy.
You know?
Probably not be
So I just had to cool myself on that. So I just,
So you learned a valuable lesson there, right?
Yeah.
That of how you learned a bit of tact and diplomacy Like, do your things, make your moves in secret,
Exactly.
so you could
know?
could advance yourself.
And then I started, I said to myself, my mother used to say to me, she had a saying, she says, when you go to this country, you come to conquer, you don't come to concourse.
Wow.
She says that.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I started saving money so I could buy a house, and stuff like that. And so I saved some money, I bought a house. Buy a house by the time I was 20 years old.
Wow. So 4 years after getting to Toronto, you had a house.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And then I started, a little after that, I started doing business in Grenadian. Trying to figure out what Grenadian need, what I could do, what I could bring, what I could sell, what's going on, and how I could trade. So I was shipping stuff for my family, and I would ship stuff. And in those times, they probably have maybe a Barbadian guy doing shipping to the Caribbean.
From Toronto.
From Toronto. And that shipment used to take long sometimes. Sometimes it takes 3 months. You ship a barrel and it takes about 3 months to reach them.
Whoa, that is a long time.
And I said to myself, because I used to send little batteries and little stuff to sell, for my people to sell.
Right.
And I said, you know what, man? Maybe I'm gonna just get involved in the shipping business.
Wow. Because you were looking for a way to streamline the process and make it more efficient.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I says, I am gonna just advertise shipping direct to Grenada. From Toronto, direct to Grenada.
Right.
And see how that goes. So we put it in the paper and everybody was calling us and stuff like that. And we decided to, I'm making a career out of it.
Right. So when you started that, you had to officially open a shipping business.
Yeah.
And I guess with all the paperwork, the bureaucracy, I mean, that was not an easy feat.
No,
right?
but that was
to get
not,
it started, right?
In those times, that was not hard to do.
Oh, okay.
Because the hardest part was to ensure that you have enough money to pay for the container, the shipping line.
And what would a container, shipping line cost?
In those days, when we started out, a container was about $3,000 for a 40-foot container.
Well, that's a lot of money back then, though. $3,000? What are you talking about, what, 40, 50 years ago?
In the 1980s.
Yeah, so at least over 40 years ago, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Well, a lot of money, but the thing is, working on the construction, and I had a little.
And some money saved up.
I had some, the whole idea is I was trying to figure out now if there going to be enough money there for me to pay for my mortgage and other stuff, So I had to feed that.
Yeah.
And I realized that in those times, tires and used tires was like I would go straight in the scrapyard and I would get tires for a good price. Used tires. And I would bring them into Grenada with the wheels and so those guys come in here, so now I go and meet a car with 4 tires in it. I take the 4, so now the wheels is fancy. We sell the wheels separate and the tires separate.
Right.
So we make
a couple dollars off of that.
So we deal with that, and it was not a bad business. It was a good business because I'm still sticking it now and now. I hand it over to myself.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, if it lasted for that long,
So
it obviously was a good business.
It was a good business, And so all my friends who went to university and educated and all that, I guess
It didn't turn out as good as it turned out for you. Put it that way.
I mean, like.
And we're not saying that it's a bad thing to go to university. We're not saying that pursuing tertiary education is a bad thing. It's good, but we're saying that for the people who do not see it possible to go in that direction, it doesn't mean that it's over.
No.
There's other possibilities to make a life for yourself. Yeah. And that's a good thing because not everyone is cut out to do that intellectual stuff.
No.
And there's so much opportunities available other than the intellectual stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a very good.
I mean, it's hard work. It's not physically. It's hard work, but physically, as I say, in my younger time, I used to be a boxer. So doing the physical work was just like going to the gym, like exercising, and from doing the shipping work, sometimes I would have a fight every month. That put me in such great shape that when I get in the ring, it was like people just say, "Where is that guy getting that energy from?"
Where did he get the stamina from?
But
Right?
it's
Not
just-
knowing that you're
not
doing so
knowing.
much physical work.
Yeah,
It's like a training.
Constantly, every day is physical work, picking up that, lifting up that barrel,
Right.
going in this basement, pulling that up,
Wow.
doing all these things, you know.
So that kept you prepared.
That kept me in shape
Right.
and prepared mentally and physically
Physically, right, for the ring.
for the ring.
Wow, wow.
You know,
So since that you've mentioned a little bit about the boxing, how did you get started in boxing? What was that about?
in boxing, after my brother threw me out, I had a lot of animosity against him.
Right, naturally.
And I was like, man. And an old friend of mine said to me, he says, "Boy, Peter, you have to find some way to get rid of that anger.
Right.
You're too angry, you know." So he says, "Why don't you go to this boxing?" You know, in those days, there was a guy by the name of Sally, a white guy. Italian guy. He have a boxing gym and Queen and Arlington in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
It says, you could go in there and fight and all that, you know. So I went in there and they put me into a trainer. And was fighting, boxing, practicing and doing everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they noticed that I'll get so angry, you know.
So you took out all the anger and frustration in your
Yeah.
opponent.
Yeah.
So that worked out really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I would, think of, like in boxing, you have to have something driving you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Sometimes I would think about the plantation, like slavery.
Oh, wow.
I would think about, especially if it's a white guy fighting or something.
Right,
I would think about those things
right.
to bring out that anger in me and,
So something to motivate you to,
Yeah.
to really crush your opponent. That's interesting.
and
Wow.
that was, but you just can't go in the ring just being a nice guy. See,
No, absolutely not, because the other guy is trying to take you down, right?
Some in yourself you had to let loose something.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to bring it, It's a fight.
And so I boxed for a while, and then after all that angriness was out of me,
Right.
and then I could leave again. I decided, well, I don't really need boxing.
You felt fulfilled, you completed your mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the kind of person I want to be, I don't really need boxing.
Right.
Boxing is okay, but by that time, a lot of people knew me in the boxing thing, and I was like I used to fight with that guy Razor Roderick, and
That's in
he was a
Toronto?
heavyweight in Toronto when he started in Toronto.
Wow.
We all was in the same gym. I think that's Louis, the guy, the English champion, WBC.
So you got to fight with those guys?
Yeah.
Wow. So,
We were from we were in the same club, the same boxing club. At that
so this was a heavyweight club. This was a serious club.
Yeah,
To have
right.
these kind of guys in it, right?
Well, in those days we were young, we started though.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we went to Miami. We went on to the States, and Razor Roderick, Donovan Roderick went to Miami and stuff like that. But by then, when everybody was looking to turn pro and all of that, I realized that I don't really need boxing anymore.
Right.
My
Because you went into it for a different reason.
Yeah, I wanted, my thing was fulfilled, and I could live with my inner self, and I'm okay now.
Right, right. So let me ask you this a little about the boxing, because again, going back to your a lot of charitable contributions that you've been involved with, and you sort of help the boxing in Grenada also,
Yeah.
right?
In Grenada, what we used to do, when we came to Grenada, when I came back from Toronto, because I was back and forth, I would be in Grenada almost 6 times a year.
Wow.
Going back and forth, because what I used to do when I pick up a barrel and ship it off in Toronto, I would fly down, when the container is, in those days, the container takes about 2-3 weeks to reach somewhere. So I would fly down to Toronto.
Right, to prep everything.
To Grenadian, fly through custom. And then I used to go as far as delivering the barrel to your house.
Wow, so you were doing that back then?
And I was doing all my stuff. I would come down here, take my truck, I have my truck here, and deliver whoever wanted to be delivered, deliver it right in the house.
That's a lot of
And
work.
then I would leave and go back up in Toronto, take different orders from people, like people who wanted stuff in Toronto, whether you wanted a speaker, stereo, or whatever else you want.
Right.
And then so I would take orders, I go back in Toronto, I buy it, put it in the container, ship it down, come back, make sure everybody get the stuff, and back and forth.
Well, that is amazing because then, I mean, you could really make a little better profit than most people could because then you're shipping your own stuff and you, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, well,
That's amazing.
in those times when, in order for me to get ahead of the competition in Toronto, what we used to do was, okay, so I went into the shipping business and I saw what's going on. And then I just narrowed myself to the Grenadian market.
Right.
But we were shipping to Grenada from all over Canada. Whether you live in Montreal, Vancouver, Saskatchewan. So we would arrange for this shipment to come into our warehouse in Toronto.
In Toronto, right.
And I would pick it up with my truck in Toronto and I'll put it into the container.
But that's amazing. So all over Canada, you were able to get people to ship with you in Toronto.
All Grenadians who live in
Wow.
So we put it at the people. And so they would get in touch with me, they would call me, they would say we're shipping from Saskatchewan and it's going to be in Toronto so and so time. I say okay, I'll go in that warehouse, I'll pick it up and I'll put it. But
That is cool.
the whole trick is when we realized what was going on and competition was coming up because people looking at you and they say,
Oh yeah, they see you're
money
making
now.
some money. Yeah, so they want to get a piece of the action.
So every time somebody come up and anything, we would add something new. For instance, we would say, okay, we'll deliver to your house. Or we'll give you 21 days to pay. Or, you know.
So that was brilliant marketing.
Yeah. So we would come up with all this different strategy. And people would say, you know, but there's some people still leave and go to the other side.
Right, yeah, sure,
They
sure,
want to see
sure.
what's going on.
Of course.
But when they realize what was going on,
They came back to
they
you.
come back and then again, and then we last. Well, I mean, we still, we had some longevity. Up until today, the business, I hand over this business to my son. And when the business is at tops, you know,
Right.
anything from $7,000 to $10,000 from
That is
Toronto.
amazing. So you guys are the heavyweights when it comes to shipping barrels to Grenada from Toronto.
Because we understand.
Yeah, you understand
we
the community you're
understand
dealing
that.
with.
We understand that the people who actually ship barrels are people who went to Grenada who came to Toronto to do their little domestic work. And my mom gave me a little insight about these kinds of people.
Right, right.
And my mother left Grenada and she went to Aruba in the early 40s. When she came back, she was one of the planners and my committee in shipping. So she knew how to
cater to the people.
cater to the people. She says,
Wow.
when you go to these people, they're not making much money. They're not making much money. They have the children and the family back in Grenada. And they want to ship the stuff.
Right, right.
So number one, you can't be greedy. Don't steal from them. Don't get involved in the stuff. Fix their stuff. They might not have time to put it together. Fix that for them.
Wow.
Put it together.
So she gave you some really good
She
advice.
says the end result, if they could get the package safe and sound and uninterfered, that's your market right there.
Solid advice.
So we decided, well, we're gonna do it. And she was always on my team, man. You know.
Wow, and that's your mom, right?
Yeah.
Wow, so she passed on some valuable advice when it comes to business.
I had some giant people on my team because I had my uncle. My dad had passed away early on. So I had my uncle who also invested in the shipping business, because when I told him I was going to do the shipping,
He supported you.
he is the one company says, look, if you're going to do the shipping, what do you need?
Mhm.
Because during that time, he just coming back from America. He was living in America for X amount of years, 30 years maybe.
Mhm.
And he says, tell me what you need to help you. So I says, all I want is to make sure I have an assurance that I can pay the shipping in just in case things didn't go well. Because you know when people give you the stuff to ship, they want the stuff to be related. They'll be calling you and asking you, well, is it there yet? You know.
Well, absolutely.
So the whole thing is you can't hold people's stuff
For too long.
If you tell them it's going to be there in 4 weeks, you have to be there, you know.
Around that
You
ballpark.
have to be there in that time.
Yeah.
So sometimes the container would move empty. When I say empty, we'll barely make anything from it. But that's when I get the idea to add things like tires, appliances, things that people need come and get the out of. So that was full container. So I wouldn't be wasting no time.
So you're getting a bang for your buck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So while other people who doing the shipping, they wasn't doing that. They were just waiting and whoever shipping, when they have a load, that's when they go.
Ah, so they're sitting around for a long time where you constantly
I was
have
shipping every week we ship a container.
yeah,
You
constant
know?
turnover.
And when it comes to warehousing in Toronto, we didn't get involved in warehousing because we realized if we have a warehouse, then the ability to ship this thing in time goes out the window because you have time. You think you have time because you have a warehouse.
Right, psychologically.
So what we did now, the same trucking company who was pulling the container for us from to the shipping line, we made a deal with this shipping company, with the trucking company. We says, look, all we need is a space in your yard to load a container. And if you give us that space to load your container, we'll give you all our business.
Ah, that's brilliant.
We'll give you all our business, ship all our container.
That is brilliant.
The guy says, right. Yeah. He said, look, you could have that spot there. And that spot is yours. He even fenced it for me. He put cameras and everything. So then,
But that was a brilliant move.
so we didn't need instead of paying $5,000 every month for our container,
Actual warehouse.
for warehousing, we wasn't doing that. Because this guy was letting us buy the container for free.
Free, and he's making money off of your business.
He's making money on business, so he's making money, I'm making money, everybody.
Yeah, one washes the other.
My container is on time because we're not keeping them for, and we were cool. And that's the same strategy between my uncle and my mother. When I take it to that committee, and we talk about it, we says, we all come up with an answer.
Wow. So you had some awesome advisors and support.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting, bro.
Yeah, man. You can't. I mean, I couldn't do it by myself.
Well, that's awesome. So that's something we want the people to know that, when you embark on something, first and foremost, you have to have people that encourage you, people who support you just in your idea.
You have to
That's
go
the first
good
step.
Because I mean, my uncle, he had all to give,
Right.
so he wouldn't do anything bad.
Right.
Anything
Right.
stupid.
Right.
My mom, all to give.
Exactly.
Because whenever everything went well with me, I always
Things went well with her.
stayed well with her.
Of course.
So,
Of course.
so
Yeah.
so it was a good thing,
But as you talk about your mom, would you say that you had that business acumen and initiative because your family has always been in business, serious business, right?
Yeah.
In terms of
My mom, when she came from Aruba in the 1950s, she we have a shop downstairs there, and my father was in the bus business. He had a bus they called Lago Pride, and my mom used to, in the old days she did domestic someone working in Aruba. When she came in, she had a shop, and she was a kind of giving person. She was a giver.
right,
And I learned being a giver from her. There's nothing wrong with being a giver.
right,
Because when you give, you get.
right, right.
And you get more than you give.
Right. Yeah.
Most people
Blessings.
trying to play mean and they don't want to give, but when you give, you get more than you give.
Yeah.
You could give again.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I mean?
biblical. It's even biblical.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah, so that was easy lessons. We followed it. Yes, it was hard work, physical work, but we just chalk up that physicality as something that,
Part of the process.
yeah, part of the process, you know.
So you guys were into farming, and you said you had a shop also.
Yeah,
So that was the mainstay of your business.
My father, my mother ran
And the
a
buses,
shop,
of course.
a grocery store, and then my father had the bus. So it was business there.
And there was some farming, right?
Yeah.
Nutmeg and
Yeah, man.
yeah.
It was like, my father would get up in the morning, take the old people in the village to work, and then he'll come back and go work his land. And then around 3 o'clock in the evening, he'll go pick up back to St. George's, pick up the old people, bring them back at the house. And then he would still go back in the garden, pick up my mom and them, and the workers, with the nutmeg, the cocoa, whatever crop they have, and put it together and, whether if it's cocoa, that time they'll do cocoa, pick up the cocoa, sweat it, and nutmeg, mix it, and so on. But in those were the agriculture years. And they, they made a lot of money in the agriculture industry at the time. Agriculture was it.
Right. So it looks like, Peter, you were destined to be into businesses and stuff like that, and you grew up around it.
Yeah.
You experienced it. It was part of your blood. So this was something that you were destined to do.
Well, that came naturally.
Right.
Transporting of people goods. I see my father did that when I was growing up. I used to work with my father, transporting people's stuff to the market, from the land, from the house to the market in St. George's.
Wow.
And so when we decided to open a business in Toronto, shipping stuff we was shipping people goods again, because people come up from Grenadian, come in Toronto, buy the goods, they want somebody respectable to ship it down, and we fill that spot, we ship it down for them. And so it was just the same thing, a continuation of the same thing over again. So
Absolutely. You were in the shipping business already, but it didn't seem all sophisticated back then, but you took it to another level, and that is the amazing thing, that you can take what you've learned from a very young, early age and actually develop into something grand. Yeah, that's amazing.
Like my son, I give him, he's doing the business. And he said to me, Dad, I'm taking this into a different level. And I said, this is what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear you're quitting or you don't want to do it anymore. And he says, I'm taking it to a different level. This is what we're going to do now. We're going to give people different ways to pay. Pay by e-transfer, pay by check, pay by different methods, which is easier.
Right, and more convenient for them.
Convenient, So instead of me walking in the other times when I started business, walking in Toronto with a pocket full of money and somebody will hold me up, when I go pick up,
it's all digital.
I pick up, it's all digital. So we don't even have to have money,
So tell me a little bit about what are some of the challenges, like serious challenges that you would have had during the business in terms of the competition, stuff like that, and obviously you seem to have dealt with the challenges very well in terms of you navigated and you maneuvered and you offered better products. Yeah.
We had a time a few years ago, maybe about 5 years ago. I don't want to.
But you don't have to get into the depth of it, but you can just give us a general gist.
But I was attacked.
Oh, okay.
I was attacked.
Okay.
By,
so it became that physical.
By the competition, one of my competition, and we were told.
Was this something that was actually discovered, or that was the case, or is this allegedly, possibly?
You could say possibly.
Allegedly, right. So we want to get that on.
But all the
All the things would point in that direction.
point in that direction. You know what I mean? Like,
And that has since been resolved.
because if you was a doctor, you would know more about killing another doctor than anybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got
You know how to get, if you're a lawyer, you know how to manipulate to get to that point that you want to get to more than anybody else.
Right.
So it takes a sheeper to lower me into an apartment and tell me they have barrels they'll pick up, and when I go there, I was getting a quarters.
Whoa, that is serious business.
Understand?
Yeah.
So who else would
Yeah.
know how to lower me?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So- So anyway, that came. I went in the hospital. I spent about 6 months in the hospital.
Oh, 6 months. That's
Face
serious
was damaged.
business.
I nearly lose my eyes here, and my head was messed up.
My goodness.
And I did not press that
Right.
because that would have taken up too much of my time.
Yeah.
And when you really think about it, is one of my Grenadian people doing that to me. That would have taken up some of my time. So
Too much of a distraction.
Yeah, so I said to myself, right now, I have to get back to business as normal.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, I am not equipped to handle this situation. There is a superhuman being they call the Lord who could handle this thing better than me.
Amen.
So I'm going to up myself out of that situation and go and do my usual work
Right.
and just
Leave it alone.
let the Lord handle that part of that business. And over the years, I never regret it. People will say, why didn't you take the guy to jail? Why didn't you take him down? I says, nah, God have a way of doing this thing. God will handle that better than me. So let me just leave that alone.
Wow. So you would say that also your traditional spirituality played a role in the way you approach situations and how you dealt with things.
Yeah.
And how you dealt with challenges.
And I got it from my mom because my mom was a spiritual person,
Yeah.
She believed in God. And she used to tell us, anything you can handle, the Lord is going to handle. Leave it to the Lord. She said, leave it to the Lord. The Lord is going to handle it. So at that time I felt, I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to a court and go through all of this thing.
Yeah.
I know who did that to me, and I'm going to leave it at that, and God is going to punish them.
Right. And that was that.
That was it.
So tell me something, to go off in a little different direction, we're happy that, you've been through this experience and you handled it well and you're over it and your family's over it. But let me ask you, what do you think was the main impulse for being so charitable with your community? Would you say that it's based on, how you grew up with your family and you saw that?
Yeah, well,
Is it something that, it was just generally a part of you that you felt like you had to do? What prompted you?
A person would always do what they're comfortable with. I mean, when I was growing up, as I say, we had a shop downstairs there, and my mom and people come to the shop, and she coming from her land, and she have little stuff, and somebody wanted something, she'll give it.
Right.
I see that. Sometimes we would be downstairs there, the fisherman pass, and she would barter with the fisherman. She would say, okay, you want some yam or you want some bananas? We say, yes, Mr. She'll give her more than the fish that
She was
to
not money
cover.
getting, she was buying it.
and stuff like that. And I saw that.
Mhm.
So I have faith in that. I don't have no fear
Right.
in that.
You understand charity.
It may not be that person who I'm dealing with at the moment who is going to be fair with me,
Right.
but the next person will be more than fair to me.
Right.
So I could bypass that person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead of taking things individually and taking people, just don't worry about it, just let it flow.
Let it
You know what I
flow.
mean?
Sort of karma.
So I saw my mom doing that, and I said to myself, you know what, this thing work. this thing walk and there's no violence. Nobody get hurt. No, everybody's happy after.
Right.
And this is the way I want to. This is the
So
way I
you
want
want
to
to
live.
live your life, yeah.
This is what I want to
And
do.
it worked out. You saw, it worked out.
It worked out for me in the 50 years I've been doing the shipping, and I hope it worked out for my son again because.
Yeah. Well, he has a good foundation. You know what I'm saying? And then just by being around, seeing what you have done for all these years, naturally, he would have incorporated some of that in his psychology. So let me ask you something. There's a very interesting part about you, and I'm sure a lot of people know about and have had the opportunity to experience that part of you, and that has to do with your melodic voice. You sing.
Oh.
Tell us a bit about that. How did you get into singing?
I would get into singing. I think it was my uncle who influenced that.
The same uncle who invested in your business?
My mother, whenever she and my dad had something, she would sing. She would sing,
Yeah.
She would sing. And one time I went to pick up a barrel at somebody's house, and they were arguing about the price, and they were getting on. I just started singing. And
And it became very calm.
I was just ignoring them, I just started singing, and they become more interested in the singing, And I says, this is a cool way to take the mind off from this thing and just show them off to something else.
Yes.
So, I would go places and they would ask me to sing a song for them before I pick up the barrel.
Wow.
They would say, just sing that song for me.
Wow.
Sing that song and do that, and I'll sing the song for them, and they would feel okay. And I says, could you put that along, and so on. And then I was doing karaoke for a while, in the evening time we go to the club, and then I hooked up with my friend Kingsley from Kingsley Etienne from St. David there, and he's a musician, very good musician. And I could play the bowling.
I don't like Peter no about.
I was hanging out with them in bowling and Kingsley and those guys. Matter of fact, I used to move equipment for Kingsley 18. Kingsley 18 had a little jazz group. They call it Formula 4. And I would move his equipment.
Right.
And we would get together after the session, and we would sing. I just get little by little. I started learning a complete song because I would only sing maybe just 2 lines. But then my uncle said one time, he says, "If you sing the whole song, it'll be better, Peter. Sing the whole song, learn the whole song."
Right.
So I started listening to Nat King Cole and those people, and I get into the whole song. But I must say that when I hooked up with Eddie Bullen in Toronto, he said to me, "Look, I want you to," he introduced me to a voice trainer. A voice trainer. And he says, "Look, I want you to go to this woman." She says, "Peter, you could sing, but you have no time, and you could be better than that. You could, He says, "You sing for me, but I can't record nothing with you today because she said, I have no time in."
So she fine-tuned you.
So she fine-tuned me. I spent some time with that woman, and that woman taught me the different tone and pronunciation. And mind you, it cost me $100 an hour.
Well, for that sort of lesson, of
It cost
course.
me $100 an hour.
Of course.
But I said to myself,
It was well worth it, right?
yeah, because it was something I wanted to do. And at the same time, she was teaching me other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, when I say other stuff, like how to be even kinder to people. And, like, just how to tone things and how to, she was comparing things to if you have an argument with somebody and you ought to shout at them, but it depends on the song I'm singing. And she would say, but if you make up with that person and you want to truly show them that you make up, then the tone is a little bit different, you know what I mean? And
Right.
she taught me about toning and, you know.
So she taught you the intricacies of
Yeah.
showmanship and
Yeah.
performance,
Yeah.
not just how to tune your voice, but
Yeah.
the whole performance aspect of it, and the whole showmanship aspect of it, and the psychology behind the music.
Right.
Wow.
She
So
taught
that was what the $100 an hour.
I mean, I never complain. Before she asked me, so I used to pay in advance.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I
You
just
want to do this.
I wanted to be in that space with her, you know.
Yeah.
And she was a great teacher.
Awesome, awesome.
And you know, she.
Well, PJP, this was really interesting. It was good for you to give us an opportunity to get a little insight into your life and what you've done and how much you've been instrumental in the Grenadian community. And I am sure, you know, I need not say it, but we'll say it here again, that Grenadians on the whole has appreciated and do appreciate all that you've done for the community and continue to do. I mean, just providing a service is in itself a very good thing, you know what I'm saying? But you have gone above and beyond, not just providing service, but at least giving back as best as you can to the community. I mean, I was fortunate Monday gone, you know, I was able to see the sort of parties that you throw for the kids, and that was incredible, you know, for the kids in the Grand Roy and surrounding area. I mean, they had a blast. You performed for them. Yeah, I mean, they were well fed, you know. I'm sure they really enjoyed the experience. And this is something I've heard that you've been doing for a while now.
Yeah.
So, you know, just on a final note, what do you have to say to your fans musically, to your people who support you in terms of your business, and to the Grenadian community at large? What's your final thought?
Well, my final thought is to tell them that they have not seen the best of me yet.
So there's a lot more to come from
The best
you.
of me is still to come.
Amen. Amen.
And,
Any words for the kids, for that advice for the youth who would want to emulate something like what you have done?
well, to the youth, I'll say, if you believe in something, and you're such what you believe in, and you see you're not harming anybody, and you're doing good to the community, go right ahead and do it.
Right.
You know, if you know it's not paying off in the early time, but it's going to pay off sometime. Sometime you have to pay off.
Along the way.
You
Right.
know, sometime along the way. So,
Would you also say that there's a certain value in patience? Because I'm sure you had to be patient in your business
yeah.
before you saw things materialize.
You know, I was saying to my son one time, I said, sometime, like, depends on it, because, you know, in leadership in the Grenadian, you have Christmas time, then you have Carnival time, and you have Easter time.
Right.
So you have like 3 busy seasons.
Right.
And during the year, it may not be as busy,
Right.
you know,
In between those times.
in between those times. And so sometimes the phone doesn't ring. Now 2-3 days the phone is not ringing. Nobody wants to move anything,
Right. It's quiet time, downtime.
you know. And so that is when we pick up the other shipping appliances, coming back from, I leave Canada and come down and find out what other people wants to buy. They want to sell it, this guy wants a big fryer, this guy. So I'll go to the auction and I'll pick up, buy these 2 or 3 restaurants equipment.
Right. So you diversify
Yeah.
during that time.
I'll buy some of the restaurants that went on and I'll buy the equipment in auction.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I'll cut it up in pieces.
Right.
I'll buy, let's say I buy the whole thing for $10,000.
Right.
And so I know somebody doing wants a 6-burner gas stove, or somebody needs a deep fryer, or somebody needs a cooler, or a fridge, or a pizza oven, or whatever.
Right.
And then I'll sell it, I'll make my money back, and the rest I donate.
Right.
You
And
know
you
what I mean?
move on.
I move on, you know, and stuff like that. I'll even, sometimes I go in a shop in Grenadian or someplace, and the fridge not working. I say, you know what, I'll fridge on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much money give me fridge.
Right. Right. So you diversify.
Give me $100, give me $200, it's sticking.
Yeah.
They really? I say, yeah. It's sticking.
Yeah.
You know? And through the years, a lot of people in Toronto, a lot of white Canadian people donate to my cause. When I tell them that I donate like stuff for, like during the hurricane and during the pandemic, we were giving people clothing, shoes, whatever people donate to us. We
You'll
give
pass it on.
Sometimes you would see me on look street in my store here, and you will see a line, people lined up, and you will say, well, it's not Christmas, it's not Easter, it's not Carnival, what they line up about?
Yeah.
But it's like we're giving away stuff.
Okay.
Giving away clothing. People know that, and they just line up. They come and get a pants, a shirt, a sneaker, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, every now and then when stuff that I want to move,
All right.
I'll just call a thing and people.
Yeah, yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know, PJP, as you're affectionately known, you know, would like to, again, appreciate all you've done and wish you continued success. It's the end of the year, you know, all the best for the holidays and into the new year. And thank you for giving us an opportunity to have a sit down with you and delve into your life a little bit.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All the best. Thank you.